Shut up and sit down.
Ho ho ho, nerds! I am Simon Claus.
I'm Batman Claus.
Ooh, Batman Claus.
Yeah, it's like the Santa Claus, except if you kill Batman, you have to be Batman.
Nice. Well, if you like
You're welcome, Kevin Smith. That's your new comic.
Oh, yeah, I could definitely read a comic called Batman Claus if it was CLAWS. Yeah, like claws. And I forgot what I was going with there. And if you like our silly videos, claws or not, then please remember to like, comment, and most of all, subscribe.
Legally binding.
Or Batman Claus will come get you.
But for now, we're having a couple of drinks that are called
Midnight Marmot.
Midnight Marmite?
Marmot.
Marmot?
Marmot.
What's a marmot?
It's a mammal.
Okay. Midnight Marmot. Okay, well, we're having a couple of Midnight Marmots and surprising each other with trailers that the other person has not yet seen.
So what do we have tonight?
Well, tonight, of all nights, we have something that's kind of a trailer for a bunch of stuff, kind of also an announcement, really, really short, but a ton of good stuff packed in there. And I'm intrigued to see what you think of the announcement, what you think of the stuff that's packed in there. Could I be any more vague or confusing?
No.
No. Well, let's watch the trailer.
There's something happening.
In the next year, Warner Brothers Pictures is bringing you the biggest premieres
So this is the Suicide Squad.
in theaters and streaming exclusively on HBO Max. The exact
Same day.
But the what now?
in theaters and streaming on HBO Max beginning December 25th.
So, there you go. Coming to HBO Max via Warner Brothers and theaters at the same time is just a bunch of really good stuff. First of all, what do you think about the concept of the same time something hits theaters, it's also available streaming on HBO Max?
I like it because it gives you options and doesn't make you feel like a second-class citizen for not wanting to go and breathe on people. I feel like for people who have some kind of sense of epidemiology and social responsibility, it's nice to have value in the media.
But equally, if you don't care and you like breathing on people and being breathed on, then you can go to your COVID death box.
Yes.
Or maybe, so we live in New York. New York has clearly not had a fun time this year in terms of COVID cases, not getting any better today. Therefore, I'm guessing theatres are probably not going to be opening anytime soon. They haven't been open here since March. Even drive-ins have closed kind of on and off this year. So I don't think theatres are going to be open here anytime soon. And I think when they do reopen, I'm not even sure how safe they're going to be, as much as we want them to be. So, yeah, I think you're right. At least this gives people choices. Do you think it's going to be the death of theatre?
That's what I keep hearing, and no, because you don't go to the theatre because that's the only way to see the movie. Like, you go to the theatre for the experience.
Right, yeah, it's a night out. It's not just because you're desperate to see that movie. And we're fortunate enough to live near several Alamo Drafthouse theatres. And seeing a movie, especially if you see the premiere at an Alamo Drafthouse, the rest of the crowd are so into it, and people are shouting and screaming along respectfully, not spoiling it, not douchebags on their phones all the time.
It's a good balance of everyone being excited, but also everyone being respectful and not, like, talking through the movie and having their phones out.
Yeah. So, to me, a choice between streaming a movie or going to see it at the theatres, I would see it at the theatres every single time, 100 times out of 100. So I don't think this is the death of movie theatres. I know our friend Eve actually did a video today that I haven't seen. Eve is a projectionist and has been for 20-something years. and was working at the Alamo Drafthouse when we were there. I'm intrigued to see what he what his take on this is, because I know he's had some rough times, like a lot of people have, due to COVID and theatres being shut down. But I'm hopeful that this is not the death of movie theatres. So let's talk about the movies. We've already talked a lot about Wonder Woman 84. There is a Chinese trailer out to Wonder Woman 84 that a lot of people are reacting to, but I'm like, the movie comes out in literally 2 weeks, 3 weeks, some number of weeks by the time this comes out. I don't need to see another trailer that has a bunch of spoilers for the movie in. I'm already hyped as much as I possibly could be. So Wonder Woman 84 is, in my mind, is good. You've then got Suicide Squad. That's just called The Suicide Squad.
That looks surprisingly promising.
Yeah. Why you don't call it Suicide Squad 2, I have no idea. We did in our trailer reaction
Maybe
a billion years ago. Maybe it is for the best. But I think that looks amazing. Can't wait to see that. There's a new Mortal Kombat movie out that somebody was just asking me on our channel today. Hey. So I suspect for some of these really big blockbusters, if theatres are not open, they may still delay them for a while. So I think the new Mortal Kombat movie we might see in late 2021. Especially as there hasn't been a lot of stuff about it recently. No, even before we get to the big one that blew my mind, Tom and Jerry, no.
I'm not watching that.
Just no. Go watch our Tom and Jerry video. Somebody hated our Tom and Jerry reaction video so much that he literally said, dude, he actually said Dune rather than dude, which is relevant to this trailer. Maybe he was a little prescient in his trolling.
He said, a creative typo.
Yeah, he said, Dune, get a haircut and put Morticia back in her coffin. And to that we say, thank you, you very old, apparently a Baptist preacher man from somewhere I've never heard of. Thank you for admiring my flowing locks. And I would say Morticia is quite a compliment.
Yeah, I mean, she's got a fantastic marriage, really creative kids. They've got a really affectionate family structure. Like, there's a lot of good communication.
And hot.
Yeah.
So yeah, parking the trolling. Tom and Jerry, no. Godzilla versus Kong. That's one I've tried about 8 times to do a trailer reaction to. Every single time it's a fake trailer with just BS end credit stuff from King Kong and Godzilla King of the Monsters. You haven't seen Godzilla King of the Monsters yet, but I've seen it twice, and I really enjoyed it.
How did you see it twice?
Flights. Back when I used to be on 7-hour flights and had time to...
flight?
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I've seen it twice, really excited. But the big one from this trailer for me, there's just a split-second thing, Matrix 4. Now... Matrix 1, I would say, one of the best sci-fi mind-bending movies ever, with great lines like Red and Blue Pill, like I Know Kung Fu. Awesome movie. 2 and 3, I mean, good movies,
Really?
Interesting story. Too much bad CGI, I would say.
And just kind of got a bit lost. Like, the first one was such a powerful idea, and then they were like, yeah, let's do more. And you're like... It's kind of like when you watch a horror movie and they show you the monster, and you're like, oh.
Yeah, you've ruined it now.
I liked it when I could imagine it was scary, because that's just a bit weird and gooey.
Yeah, I always have fond memories of Matrix 3, because we saw it in our first ever IMAX... on our first ever trip to California when I was working out there for a short stint, and we stayed in Irvine in California, and we went to the Spectrum Center, to the IMAX there, and it was just an awesome trip. So I kind of have these associations with Matrix 3, but I also remember sitting there watching those CGI, what was his name? Mr. Anderson, the agent guy. I remember him fighting Keanu Reeves for what felt like 4 hours. Just these like faceless guy in suit CGI puppets flying all over the place, and a little boring. But anyway, I'm actually really intrigued though, because I thought Keanu Reeves rocked it in Bill and Ted. So I'm intrigued to see what they do with kind of a Matrix.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see the angle, because I'm not seeing it yet.
I am wondering, and I'm going to need to go back and rewatch 1, 2, and 3. But I'm wondering how they could even do a 4 based on how 3 ended.
But I feel like going back to the death of cinema, the thing about all these movies is they are massive, epic movies. And even if it's not a franchise that you are really, really excited about, or a movie that you've been really highly anticipating, all of these movies, you get so much more benefit from watching it in a theatre with the proper surround sound that makes your seat rumble, seeing it on a massive screen where that's all of your eyeballs can see. Like, you can't see anything else, it's just the screen. It's a very different experience than watching the movie in your house. And even if you've got a really big TV, you're still just kind of sat home, and then, like, you're kind of looking at your phone and flicking through it, and then, like, you kind of, like, drift off and you're thinking about, like, the corner of the room. Oh, there's a bit of dust up there. I really should. And then, like, you're thinking about the cushions. And then it's like, that's not, even if it's a movie that you really enjoy, your brain can't help but wonder. But if you watch it in a theatre, like, you're properly immersed in it. And that is why cinema will never die, because it's an immersive experience. In a way, that's the only way you can have that experience.
Yeah, I completely agree. And if you go to an Alamo Drafthouse, you can not only drink beer while you're watching your movie, which is a big plus.
And wine.
And apparently hot tea, if that is your thing.
Sometimes I have tea at the Alamo. It's nice.
And but they also do amazing chicken wings. I miss their chicken wings so much. And there's something about, especially if it's a new Star Wars movie, that always makes me emotional. There's something about, like, drinking at least one beer during the trailers, your chicken wings arrive, and then you're watching some really emotional scene, crying into your chicken wings, tears falling into your beer, napkins everywhere, with everyone else in the audience doing the same, or at least that's what I tell myself.
I still remember when we went to see... It was Star Wars that we were seeing. And it was one that we were hosting, so we had front row seats. And I can remember I was sat next to some really cool young guy. And I'm thinking, I know I'm going to cry. I was sat next to I had this cool young guy on one side. On the other side, there was this other cool guy. I know he had a hoodie and he seemed cool to me. He had, like, a bit of a beard. And I'm like, oh my goodness. Like, I'm just going to sit next to him and cry and really embarrass myself. It got to, like, all of the scenes that made me cry. And, like, I kind of glanced over and he was crying too. And I'm like, oh, I don't feel so bad now. But that's what you get going to the theatre. Like, you get to experience it in a whole room full of people who have also thought, I would rather pay twice the money to go see this in a room full of people who love this just as much as me. And that's what you get. You get, like, that shared experience. So not only do you get that fully immersive experience, you get to share it with a whole room full of people who feel the same way.
Amen to that. Well, there you go. So I think we are excited about some, not all, of the Warner Brothers movies coming to HBO Max, but hell, there's enough there to keep you busy for a while. But I think most of all, we agree that cinema is not going to die if we have anything to say about it.
And we promise that every single one of these movies that we enjoy on HBO Max, when they come out on HBO Max, we will watch them. And when it's safe to come to the theatres, we will watch them again. Ooh. Probably several times. Having seen it once, if it's something we're desperate to watch, we're going to watch it on our TV. But saying... we value that immersive experience so much, we will watch it again when it's safe to go to the theatre. So please, even though you're going to release it on HBO and at the theatre, probably near us, they won't open the theatres for a while. Please consider re-releasing it, because we will pay to go see it. Probably after this year of not being able to go to the theatre, we will go almost every day to go see movies again and again, just because we've been so deprived and because we love it so much. So please re-release them, even though they've already been on HBO Max and at the theatres. Please re-release them when it's safe to go outside again. There you go. Hear our plea, Warner Brothers and Hollywood and anonymous third-party donors, whatever. Investors, please, we will pay you so much money. Yes. Put it in the theatres. We'll be there. For now, if you want to put us in the theatres or do with us what you will,
We will be back tomorrow anyway, because we do this every day, and we hope that you will continue watching us, pandemic or no pandemic. But there you go. We are excited about HBO Max. We're excited about theatres coming back. We don't think they're going to die at all. And we will see you tomorrow, friends, on the next Drunk Trailer Not Dead Ambush.
Peace out, nerds.
Don't be dead, cinema. Bye.
Shut up and sit down.